Hello. Not having watched very many movies since the last time doing this Halloween October reviewing report, I think it's what I call these, um, I'm including the Scream trailer as part of the viewing, and also 3 episodes of the movies that made us, the Netflix series, because they are about Halloween and Friday the 13th, and what was the other one? Oh, yes, A Nightmare on Elm Street, which is the franchise that I watched. Was it last? No, it was 2 weekends ago. Um, so I'll do those first very quickly because they seem to follow a similar pattern as most of the movies that made us episodes do, which is uh, we had a shoestring budget. We didn't initially cast that star that you loved in the role in our movie, but then we eventually did. The final cut was an accident, and the success surprised all of us. Now, the shoestring budget isn't out of the ordinary for horror movies, especially the classic horror movies. Um, these days, they seem to be pretty well funded. But it's interesting to see like certain detail, especially the iconic stuff, like Freddy Krueger's claws were made with like real like the guy who I forget who the guy who designed them and built them was, but I forget his name, but he used real razor blades. And the first time Robert Englund put them on, he goes like the guy shows he goes like this, and of course the claws extend past his fingers. They go down to his wrist, and then he's got a little bit of a bloody wrist. Obviously, it didn't kill himself, but just dangerous props. And then to find out that the Halloween mask from Halloween, Michael Myers' face, was a literal Halloween mask that, again, I forget the guy's name. I only watched these things once. I don't even know, see, unlike Robert Englund, I don't know the name of the guy who played Michael Myers either. But it was a Star Trek mask of Captain Kirk that this guy bought at a Halloween store, and then he took it home, painted it, he dyed the hair, he did a little more detailing, and that became the iconic mask. So lots of great details like that in this Netflix series, and I've watched, I think, pretty much every episode of that, and almost every episode of The Toys That Made Us. They're very interesting, bite-sized documentaries, and I'm an easy mark for them. I guess those movies were all before I was born, but most of the stuff is movies from my lifetime that even if I didn't appreciate them back then, I appreciate them now as relics of back then. So that. But the main thing that I wanted to talk about is the Scream 5 trailer. It says Scream, but it's Scream 5, and hopefully they will actually call it Scream 5 because they called all the rest of them Scream 2, 3, and 4, so they should call it Scream 5. But they're calling it Scream for some reason, just like they called that Halloween rebootquel Halloween instead of Halloween 3, which is, I guess, what they were claiming it was, or Halloween 2, which they were claiming it was essentially, or Halloween 20-something, which I think is what it would honestly be. But they're just calling it Scream. But just to skip to the part where, I mean, I enjoyed the whole trailer, but the part where I grinned and thought, I can't wait for this movie, is the very end of the trailer, and Ghostface says in his mechanized voice, "Hello, Sydney. It's an honor." And I just loved that, because all these rebootable type things, the Halloween one, Terminator Dark Fate, the long-delayed, actual, legitimate, this time we're serious sequels or threequels or whatever, they're all self-aware and meta to an extent, even when they're trying to be sincere continuations of the story. And Scream is the ultimate self-aware meta anything, for me. And again, I grew up in the 90s, and I was just in the age range where my parents didn't want me watching Scream, but I managed to. And Scream, the original, is probably my favorite. Scream 4, my second favorite, but they go back and forth. I like Scream 2 and 3. They all have their things, like the whole idea with Scream was this is how you survive a horror movie, and then Scream 2, this is how you survive a horror sequel, and then horror trilogy, etc. And then there's a great line from Sydney, again, in the Scream 4, the reboot, where the rules of surviving in a reboot, and Sydney says, "You forgot the most important thing about a reboot, don't fuck with the original." And it's kind of like I responded to that kind of the way I responded to "Hello, Sydney. It's an honor," because it's like the Ghostface knows he's in the movie. Sydney knows she's in the movie. They're not playing it that way, but it's like the thing that Ghostface would say was, "This is I've been playing this video game that people have been playing for years, and this is the level no one can beat." And so I love that detail. I don't know who. I mean, I know who Courtney Cox and David Arquette are, and I know who Neve Campbell is, and maybe there are other familiar faces, but I didn't know who any of the younger people were. Now maybe they're saving some celebrities because usually they've got like Drew Barrymore at the very beginning of the first Scream, and Kristen Bell I think was among the people in Scream 4 at the very beginning. So surprise celebrities who, they keep a secret so that it's a surprise. But I look forward to realizing who these people are. Like, I don't know if I knew who Emma Roberts was at the beginning when I first saw Scream 4. Now I know who Emma Roberts is, and seeing her in Scream 4 is therefore that more, I enjoy it more. Not that I didn't enjoy it back then, because she's really good in it. Hayden Panettiere, or however her last name is pronounced, and Kieran Culkin, I think. It's either Kieran or Rory, because it's not Macaulay. But one of the Culkins is in it. I recognized him. And I think there might have been one or two other people that I recognized in Scream 4. But I did recognize people in Scream 4 other than the people who were in Screams 1, 2, and 3. So I don't recognize anybody in the trailer, but again, that doesn't mean there's not going to be someone there who I recognize ultimately. I can't, I don't know that describing what happens. It's a lot of slasher action. It's a lot of, I think Dewey's the one who in the trailer at least is the one who says there are certain rules to surviving this situation that we're in. So they do that whole thing again. But Scream is my horror slasher franchise because it's the one, again, from when I was little. Halloween is a legacy. They were still making them when I was a kid, but it wasn't the hot thing. I remember seeing the original Halloween movie at a friend's house during a Halloween party, and that was great. But it was like, oh, this is a classic. This is a really old one. And even then, it was scary. It scared me, but it wasn't as exciting as the things being made now, specifically targeted at people my age. Ditto, I still haven't fully appreciated Friday the 13th or any of those movies, but I think now Nightmare on Elm Street, I get, but Scream was the one, like Scream 3 came out, whenever it came out, that was the one that I was, oh, this movie is coming out, there are two others, I may have seen them, maybe my parents weren't happy that I'd seen them, but they didn't want me to go see Scream 3 at the theater. I don't remember whether or not I did, but that was, I got excited about. And then Scream 4, I was an adult, so I went and saw it. So Scream, I will keep seeing Scream. I haven't seen any of the TV show. I'm not that interested in the TV show, but I'll keep seeing Scream movies and being excited about them for as long as they keep making them. And this wasn't always the case. Scream 4 happened, and I thought, but trilogies are nice and neat. Trilogy is a word people know. Quadrilogy is not a word that people use. But Scream 4 won me over, and so I'm in. And so that's my trailer reaction for Scream 5 Scream 5 slasher Scream. And then I mentioned the Movies That Made Us episodes, and I think it's the only, let's see, what did we watch Tuesday? I don't really remember. Oh, we watched an episode of Sabrina because it was late when the malevolent supernatural force I live with got back. Wednesday, we watched those 3 episodes, and possibly also an episode of Sabrina. We watched something in it. No, we listened to Little Shop of Horrors. Not watched the movie, but listened to the 2003 Broadway cast recording, the revival cast with Carrie Butler as Audrey. And that kind of counts, because it's also a movie, and it's about a monster, but it's listening instead of watching. And then last night, we watched Psycho, and I think we watched something in addition to Psycho, but on Tuesday we watched Only Murders in the Building. That's kind of Halloween-y. And last night, in addition to Psycho, I don't remember what we watched. Maybe we listened to something again. But Psycho is, of course, predates Scream, predates Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. I keep wanting to say Miracle on Elm Street. It is kind of a miracle because it's magic. And Psycho is just a brilliant, pretty universally well-regarded movie. And with something like that, I wonder with repeat viewings, is it going to scare me as much? And the jump scares I recognize more when they're coming, but there's as I'm older, the jump scares don't do it for me as much as like Anthony Perkins is his name, right? Who plays he plays Norman Bates, and so his performance and the subtleties of his performance and the nuance, they're what are creepy to me more as I get older, and I guess more of a discerning taste or lens through which I view things. And so my worries about not being able to appreciate the movie on repeat viewings, nothing to worry about after all. I'm sure that it'll be not to the extent that E.T. is, but it'll be like E.T., where each time I watch it, there's something about it that is new to me that I didn't quite see in the way that I do now before, and I can appreciate it more now. And maybe it's very creepy, but just this time around, what I noticed was just the kind of too happy, too nice character that Norman Bates kind of is playing for his customers. So that they don't find out too much, they don't ask too many questions, they just find him not objectionable, nothing to worry about, and they leave him alone. And they again don't ask too many questions or get suspicious or anything. Not that they would get suspicious, but he would think they would get suspicious, I think. So that kind of was what creeped me out most this time. And then, of course, there's that maniacal grin at the very end. The fact that he lets a fly walk around on his hand doesn't do anything. So that is my viewing report for Thursday, October 14th. I'm still sharing, and it'll be in a box any second, It's Beginning to Look a Lot More Creepy music video. I want everybody to see that and to share it and spread it, more even than I want people to share this. But do share this if you made it this far and you liked it and you want to. But that music video, I am very proud of. The malevolent supernatural force I'm with helped me put it together, and we love it. So happy viewing, and see you whenever.